Excellent. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of the Mystical Hot Chocolate Talks. We are the Mystical Hot Chocolate Endeavors, and this is our podcast. Today is February 4th, 2021. It's a very, very good day for us. We had received the final, semifinal masters for our new record, which we will not be giving you the name of or any details just yet. In due time is a good day. So, gentlemen, how are you? Oh, sad face Willie.
I'm so
how
glad
are
to
you?
see you guys.
Very well.
I am very glad to
well.
see you
Thank
as well.
Got myself
The Chick-fil-A.
sandwich.
I like how he saved that for like right now in this moment.
Wow.
Oh my
Welcome
god.
to our podcast.
the beer.
Chick-fil-A.
Yep, Chick-fil-A, coffee, red wine, beer.
I had water, but I drank it all. God damn it.
That's this band in a nutshell, minus the Chick-fil-A politics. I guess you would say.
Yeah.
or definitely not. I guess. Yeah, I
Hey,
guess
hey,
with that. No,
they
no.
say,
Definitely.
They say they're better. They
Yeah.
stopped giving money to fund electrocuting gays.
Well,
Okay, well that's a good thing. At least they're not
Yeah.
electrocuting the gays.
No,
At
just
least they
funding it.
stopped
They
that.
still might be doing it.
Oh my
Ah.
Speaking of Chick-fil-A, this really kind of a situation that I'm gonna bring up. Maybe some people may feel the same way as me about this. Will, do you remember the last time we went to a Chick-fil-A? What I had the biggest issue with it?
Oh, I mean, we
Was
went
it
to
the one-
Chick-fil-A, but you didn't get anything, right?
I didn't get anything,
yeah.
but I told you like my big issue with them.
Yes, I remember. I remember the big issue.
Which was
My pleasure.
my pleasure. Okay, if it is in your code that you need to tell anybody when you're making minimum wage thereabouts, my pleasure to serve you, like, here's your fucking sandwich, asshole. Beat it. Like,
well, okay.
that.
So
Oh my
when I
God.
grew up in Atlanta, because that's
Yeah.
where they're from, not just would they give you that just horrible, my pleasure, but right after
Yeah.
that, a handful of the really, really interesting folks would say, "Have a blessed day.
Have a
blessed
You
day.
know what?
Here's your chicken."
That's not that bad.
Oh,
All
they
right.
still-
and
I feel
it's
like
not
They
though.
still say it.
You know?
Oh,
my
yeah.
pleasure. Bless you. It's like, well, okay.
Now, I have the interesting knowledge because I work there.
Yes.
And
yes.
it is
Our
actually
inside man.
Yeah, and my brother still works there. He's a manager.
Ah.
Actually, he's above. He told me his the term he is. It's like above managers. But anyway, it is nowhere in the handbook that you need to say my pleasure.
But
To
didn't
my
you tell me
knowledge.
that they could fire you if you didn't?
They
or some shit
could.
like that?
They could.
Okay.
They would, but they would fire you on the terms of like. Okay, like this really happened. Like a guy got fired for not smiling enough in 2 weeks.
What?
Like his first 2 weeks,
Wow.
gone. And then another guy got fired for not saying my pleasure. But I think that was different. I think it was like he just outright refused to say it. Like to anybody. It wasn't like he forgot a couple times. He was just like, I'm not saying it. And they were like, all right.
Yeah.
It's not in the
But
handbook.
I was never trained or told
Yeah.
to say it. It was just something that like I guess you just kind of know going in.
Just kind of. Okay.
Well, okay. So the,
Well, go ahead. Go ahead. You. Yeah.
the last horrendous thing with Chick-fil-A here, I remember when I went to one right before I moved to Toronto,
Yeah.
standing there in the bathroom, the restroom, the washroom, and like listening to the music while I'm doing my thing, and it hit
Yeah.
me a moment later, like some of my contemporary church upbringing came back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Did
That
it
the
finally click?
music played in there is
Yeah.
literally contemporary Christian rock with like a MIDI piano replacing the vocal line.
Yeah.
And it
there's
is
no-
the worst thing.
Oh, you haven't even missed the best part. I'm at least at my Chick-fil-A. I don't know about the other ones, but that shit never turned off.
Oh.
Like all night. Like that.
Oh,
music just
after
played.
hours and
Yeah,
everything?
it
Oh,
never
fuck
shuts
me.
off. And I remember
Oh.
after we'd close, and I would be waiting for like my friends, and I would be sitting there and like, oh my god, dude, it's the same music. It's like the same 5 songs, like over and over and over. Like
Damn.
I got, but yeah, it's all. If you went to a church right now, you'd probably hear one of the songs they play.
Oh,
just wouldn't know the
Santa. Oh, Santa. What, that?
Like I think that's one of them. There's a whole
Damn.
bunch. I don't know why they don't play Slayer in there. Like,
Oh my god.
I think that would be good.
Friday some
Probably because it
Saturdays.
sucks, but. You know, like-
Oh.
Speaking of
Kidding.
Slayer, Did you guys listen to Death Grips?
You know
Of
I
course.
did. Of course.
Okay, hold on. Before we go on, I'm gonna say this because we forgot during the test zone to like bring this
What?
up. Is the fact that we on the Mystical Hot Chocolate Talks are gonna be implementing a weekly like a record of the week where we're gonna deep dive into one record. One of us is gonna pick it. This week it was Will. And this week we're gonna be talking about some Death Grips. So Will, why don't you start this off, man? Like this is your pick. I want you to start this for us.
Government Plates.
Government
So
plates.
I picked Government Plates. Okay, straight off the bat, because when I
School
first heard it,
presentation, bro.
Yeah.
well, because I'm thinking, I'm trying to tell
No,
you.
no, no. Yeah.
Yeah. I heard it, and like I told you in the chat, I had to listen to it again. Like it was like it was like 1 a.m. I listened to that at 1 a.m. and then I'm done with it, and I just fucking listened to it again because I'm sitting in my room, but like I want to go for a run. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I don't know. I had honestly the only album of theirs that I've heard like straight through is Extra Military, the first one.
Okay.
Like all the other stuff, I know it and I like it, but I've only heard like a couple of the singles, maybe seen like some of the music videos. But again, I just heard this album, and I just wanted to hear it again.
Absolutely.
And I mean, I don't know. What you guys think?
So my experience with the Death Grips, like, and again, I come from primarily alternative, metal, death metal. You know what I mean? Like just a lot of like, gross kids with long hair kind of styles of music. For the most part, and it's just like, so I've been a pretty long time fan of Death Grips because I had a buddy back in, we met in middle school, but I think he started really like playing them a lot like our first year of high school or second year of high school, one of the two. Zachary Caputo. I don't know that I'll ever see this, but just in case he does, like, and he used to be like on the bus screaming the lyrics. Like I love this kid to death, but he was like, he's exactly like the loud one. Like he was that kind of an individual where he would be screaming the lyrics on the bus, like non-stop from like the second.
Is there
like,
any other way to perform Death Grips?
You can't. No. Like, could you imagine those songs like Whispered? That would fucking suck. Like, it would just be bad.
But like,
it's just like
out of context, Death Grips is just weird.
Yeah.
Like, you're not listening to the music. You're just listening to this random kid screaming it on the bus in the morning.
Yeah.
And you're like,
yeah.
bro.
In the
fuck,
exactly.
Bro, I'm just trying to sleep.
Because
that,
I think
that kid got it. He got the energy. He heard that and he knew what was, that's what was brought out in him.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't matter if you're 16 on the school bus.
Yes. The music itself is as heavy and as gross as any grindcore band you could ever possibly listen to. It's there's a word I want to use to describe it, but I'm blanking right now. But it's fucking amazing. It's a great record. A lot of no buts.
Okay.
It's just the fact that there is a lot of. Again, I don't know specifics about the band in that like, what do you understand about music theory or any of that stupid shit, because it doesn't matter. Sorry guys, it doesn't fucking matter. But like the way their music's written and the way that you might have like the bass line that's working with some kind of a melody, like what is it, like the what's the fourth track on that record? The one that's got like the tuned up string pitch instruments.
This is Violence?
I think it's Birds that you're thinking
Birds,
of.
yes, exactly, yes.
Yeah, that's a good
and
one.
so, like, there are these melodies that are working horribly against each other, like, throughout the song, like, in a way that's, like, if you really try to, like, write this shit out, on, like, stab paper or whatever,
wrong.
like...
It's wrong.
It's wrong. It's fucking wrong.
And it even goes beyond that,
yeah.
like, rhythmically.
Yes.
There's points... And I don't know if they do this a lot, but it's all over this album where, let's say they have an arpeggiator.
Yes.
Instead of using it like polyphonically and playing two notes to harmonize it, they're literally recording it twice and like changing the rate a little bit faster, a little bit slower, and like all of a sudden, like it starts to just it's two different tempos, like, and it's like holy shit, like, and then they'll take the other tempo and like do something wild with it, and all of a sudden it's in this other key tempo. It's another song, like. And I thought that, that's something that I heard across the album that was really impressive to me. Like, I've always heard the idea of, like, let's say you have a Moog, it's monophonic, that you could make chords and melodies and all this music with it by just recording each individual part, and then it'll sound like, But doing it with arpeggiators at different rates, like, I don't know how at any point on this album they would use a metronome.
No,
I really don't.
I think a lot of it, when I hear this, I can't guarantee this was how it was made, but some of this stuff sounds very sample-based. I mean, it reminds me a lot of, like, almost some drum and bass stuff, or, like, some early hip-hop.
Oh, yeah.
And,
like People Doing Nothing.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But, I mean, and at the same time, though, it reminded me I mean, you guys are going to have to, sit with this for a second. But it reminds me of electroacoustic composition. Because, like, everything on this record in particular, I hadn't listened to this before this week. I listened to, like, The Money Store, Year of the Snitch when it came out, 2 years ago. I listened to that. But, this one is a little bit more, I don't want to say lo-fi, but it sort of sounds like, even though everything is rhythmically very, very tight, it wasn't really mixed in the sense that we expect, or it was mixed to further enhance the separate elements. Because, like, I listen to that, and I hear Zach Hill being Zach Hill over samples, which is the vibe. I mean, that's great. I love it. But that reminds me of, like, old electroacoustic stuff when people just figured out, like, how do we pull apart a sine wave? This is before you could build a commercial synthesizer. Leading up to that. Reminds me of some of that.
Forgive my stupidity. What's electroacoustic? I actually don't know what that is.
So, I don't either.
Yeah, that would be it's like a subsidiary of classical composition that it really reached its height, I guess, in maybe the 1920s to the 1970s or 80s.
Oh,
where people were using technology and trying to get to the essence of sound without a lot of drugs were involved. A lot.
Oh, yeah.
But like they were trying to get to the essence of sound beyond the melody. The concept of, like, if I take this recording of, an old car engine, and I take this recording of a lawnmower, and I slow one down, and I put this weird reverb on it. Back then they were dealing with giant machines and processors.
Yeah.
It'll turn into this crazy above music soundscape. A little hippie-ish, a little pretentious, but it's interesting stuff. And some of this record kind of harken back to that, and just like it's so unapologetically what it is without even attempting to mix together. Like, Will, you said you wanted to listen to it twice. I loved it, but I had to break up my listens in 2 or 3 listens because it was just like it was a lot.
No, but that's exactly kind of why I loved it so much. Because like listening to it was an experience in and of itself, just because there was so much going on, and you know what I mean. Really, that's what kind of drew me to it so much. I
think what we're kind of beating around is something that I noticed, which is the first, 5 tracks were very, very Death Grips, like from what I've kind of known. And I've heard this album. I heard this album maybe back in 2015.
Okay.
But only once. And this album, MC Ride, who is a fantastic vocalist, is kind of really on just those first 5 tracks heavy, and then the rest of it's really just a Zach Hill kind of show off. And so everything from
and the producer though, because Zach Hill on the drums, but
is that Andy,
I don't know his name, but
Moore, I think having it took me a second in that latter half to realize the songs were changing. Like it all felt like one huge piece of music, and then the last track, oh my god,
bro,
last track was so good, really good, and much longer than the rest of them. But I did feel like kind of like what you're saying is that it was very, very, it was a lot, and it was like, well, why, what is there so much of? And it was a lot of music.
Everything.
It was a lot,
well,
and and I feel like as opposed to say, what's their big song,
Get God or whatever it is.
Guillotine.
No Love.
Oh yeah.
Guillotine, and that's only MC Ride.
Yeah,
It's only him, you know, like, and a lot of the big Death Crick songs are just him, and it shies away from the fact that this isn't a rapper group or anything. Like, this is like, imagine a Dead Mouse with a vocalist. Like, you know, this is very much a musical group and not so much a rapper thing, you know. Yeah. And that's what this album really showed off a lot of, and I liked that.
Yeah.
On top of, you know, everything else. But that was the biggest takeaway for me, was how that second half was like almost like, okay, this is Death Grips. Like, Granted, it was all a lot. It was like, holy shit, bro. There is no chill moment, bro.
No.
Yeah. No.
I mean, I don't know if did Big House. I got the track list in front of me. I'm sorry.
I'm looking at it too.
Did Big House hit you guys uniquely?
Yeah.
Because like
I liked Big House.
It's just like a full-on '90s house beat, and like the full low end and all that hit, and just like what the fuck? Okay, like
I also
it's like a glass of water almost.
There's like the 6/4 groove at one point in that song. It's like, oh
this
is chill,
bro. Okay, so those three specific songs, Feels Like a Wheel, I'm Overflow, and Big House. I get what you mean about that later half of the record sounding like one song, because those three songs for me just go together really well.
Those might have been the three that I like didn't even notice was changing. I'm Overflow stood out a little harder, but Feels Like a Wheel going into Big House, yeah, it was like, what was the change? And the government place really stood out. That was like, oh shit.
And there was a couple parts in there, I'm forgetting where. I think it's in Overflow where like I'm trying to pinpoint where they sampled some of the vocals, where like most of the time I'm thinking it's only MC Ride being sampled over himself, or like they took a little bit of the audio and then
I feel like they pulled a lot from like some older
I think they were taking...
I was hearing other songs like in there. I was like, oh shit. So I feel that, but I do agree. I think there were some other people like samples in there as well.
Like it sounded like some there was this old Brazilian percussionist and composer. His name Nana Vasconcelos, and he did he was a composer. He was a percussionist, but he also like did a lot of really weird vocal work. So he would be on the microphone playing some weird ass instrument, and then be like, and I feel like that's exactly what they were doing on that track. And I'm like, is that MC Ride, or is this coming from somewhere else? I don't know. But yeah, I liked it. It was a vibe.
Yeah, really good.
They need to
It's a
gather
good album.
Mike Patton next time.
I thought
what?
They need to gather Mike Patton next time.
Yeah.
Sample him.
Yeah, right.
A troop.
You know, something really interesting that I found out not too long ago was some of the real popular like snares, electronic snares that you'll hear.
Yeah.
Some of them are synths, but like the original like big pop snare is a sample of like a cymbal being hit for like the impact, and then the echo out is like the natural reverb of a tom when it fades out. So they take like the impact of like a real snare and a cymbal, but then have it immediately mold into a tom.
Yeah.
And like you get this like pop, like kind of cool.
That layering type thing is very common with a lot of electronic production. But like even the old 808 snare, if you listen to that, it's like sort of like a little bit of a stick click with a bunch of white noise. That's like really the 808 white noise.
Okay.
Huh. Yeah. Good point.
Interessante.
Not entirely.
Yeah.
I was just messing with an Arturia that mini Bruta had, and they have a whole dial.
Oh, Chris's
Yeah.
one? Yeah.
Dude, you know, they put out the Polybrute, which is actually really cool, and I was thinking about getting one.
Dude, the
Yeah.
Polybrute has gotten unbelievable reviews. People freaking love that.
I wanted to get it because I used that MX, was it the 49?
Yes.
And I was like thinking about getting another synth for the bottom, and I was like, well, all my sounds are on that MX49. Like, what would I even get that is just another MX49? And then something like that, though, like a synthesizer that I can just, you know, every show's a little different. I can get actual cool. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And like,
Yeah.
so I was messing with those. But the point being, they have their noise wheel.
Yeah.
is a lot stronger than most synths noise, and so you can really get these crazy sounds with just all this like, it's cool. It gives it like a little bit of air in a way, like you can put some like there's, you know, sustain out it, and all of a sudden there's an atmosphere.
Nice.
But it's noise.
Nice.
Oh, that's pretty sick.
So you're gonna drop $2,000 plus on a polybrute now, right? That's
Oh,
what this
no.
means?
I'm gonna wait for one to pop up used.
Nah, dude, he's gonna steal one. What do you
Yeah,
mean?
there you go. I'm gonna
Come
lie
on.
my way through it.
You're in Texas,
You gotta
man.
buy-
There's no
you gotta
laws down
buy
there.
it. Yeah.
No, I'll just go find someone and take it.
Howdy, partner. I'm taking this polybrute.
Well, isn't Guitar Center going bankrupt for like the 4th time in our lifetimes? Just pick the
Well,
right day.
Hey man, any day now we're gonna have the Reddit guys are gonna step
Bro,
it
we
up
need
and
to
say Guitar
invest
Center.
in Guitar Center.
I mean, honestly.
I mean, that's kind of how the shorts work. I mean, they've been going on for a long time. Like
Yeah.
the most recent one that you guys might even recall is
Yeah.
Toys R Us. That was a short squeeze.
Okay,
Um,
but
I thought they were done. Are there
but
still some?
that happened because, like, kind of like what happened with GameStop. That same
Okay.
thing happened with Toys R Us, where these guys, you know, they bought all the shares in Toys R Us, expecting it to, but they bought them as shorts. So even though the stock drops, they keep their money.
Oh,
So the
okay,
reason they do that is they throw all this money in,
Yeah.
and then when the company becomes nothing,
Uh-huh.
they still get their money back because they bought them on shorts, so they didn't lose any money,
Uh-huh.
but they still own the stocks, so they own the
Gotcha.
company. So when the company liquidates its assets, they get everything. And so that's what happened with Toys R Us. Is they,
Okay.
so that would happen. You know, something like that could happen to Guitar Center
But,
if they
like-
eventually like.
isn't Toys R Us like closed though? Like, sure, some dudes own it,
Well-
but like the store is closed.
No, that's what
right?
I'm saying. They own it, and so so that means that when they sell off, like essentially liquidating their assets, when they sell off all of the merchandise and everything, because they own the company, they get all that money. They get a key. So they essentially invested in a company they knew was going to go under, so that they wouldn't lose money. But whatever the company is worth, they get all of that.
Yeah,
so that's
yeah.
what happened with like
After
games.
the fact, like when it's
Yeah,
all,
and that's what's happening with like GameStop and AMC. That's why the whole thing is like, even if, like, let's say the GameStop share went up to what, 380, and then you cash out for like 5 million. Well, GameStop's obviously not worth $380 a share.
Yeah.
And so the money's not really there, is the whole thing. So that's why they're saying these guys that made these investments, they didn't
Yeah.
really invest, but they just kind of made these bets, and now they owe money. So it's going to become this, like, oh shit, like now we're literally, but that's what they do all day to other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
So yes, I could see it happening to Guitar Center, but I also don't, because they own like all the music and arts centers, and
Yeah.
that's like the only the only chain orchestration kind of place I can even think of going to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see the future, and I think the future reads Guitar Center at Berkeley.
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
They're
Oh.
buying everything else. A little inside
Yeah.
joke with our common background here at Berkeley.
Yeah.
Can we just
yeah.
not mention the name that shouldn't be mentioned ever?
Yeah.
I would not be
Fuck.
surprised. I would not be surprised if Guitar Center has to close some stores and they
Yeah.
sell that building to Berkeley.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
but that's
Isn't
Or
it
all
like
of it.
the one that's
yeah. But all of it.
They already own the top half.
the Guitar Center that was by Fenway, like closer to
Yeah.
Fenway.
Yeah.
Like right
Yeah.
across the street from it is where they have like the global jazz.
Yeah.
So like, fuck it, they'll just move to the Guitar Center or have both those places. You know, it's
Yeah. Yeah.
dude. They fucking have. Don't they have like a sister school in Dubai now? Like,
Yeah.
that's
They do,
not
yeah.
an issue. The money is not an issue to them.
No.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's like-
I forgot about that.
It's
Yeah,
like-
that's right.
They're going crazy. I mean, they've always been crazy with the marketing. But,
Yeah.
like, I have friends, like, up here, just like how we all joke about, like, Waves plugins and how they're 100% of the time, like, 85% off. People
Yeah.
talk about Berkeley just like, oh, yeah, I got another Berkeley email. And these are, like, my friends from Canada who have never been to Massachusetts or touched
Okay.
Berkeley or Googled Berkeley or anything. And they're like, oh, yeah, they send me an email once a month and tell me to, like, sign up for the undergrad.
Damn.
Great.
Yeah.
Dude.
I
They're
wonder
everywhere.
I wonder if Berkeley took like a massive hit with COVID.
No, man, they're charging everyone the
No.
same price and they're
Yeah.
saving money on facilities. just like every other university.
Yeah.
You think their like applications went down?
Probably, but the whole world went down, so they're still going to be just fine.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Funny enough, just speaking of which, I was either yesterday or the day before, I was messaging Beth because she posted like a picture of her at the school, or like her gig bag in like the hallway or something
you know
like
what?
that.
I did see that.
Yeah, and I was like, hey, like what's the deal? Are you guys back up and running? Because like, I don't know what's going on where you guys are aside from Trevor, just because I know that Texas never really stopped doing its thing. But I was like, here everything's starting to kind of open back up and such, and so I asked her like what's the deal? And apparently, oh god, if I can remember this correctly, so she's got one class, one ensemble, and one lesson that she's going to the school for. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're pretty committed to, I guess, making this kind of a regular in-person thing again, except for where they know they don't have to, so to speak. So, oh man.
So,
I'm
thinking,
yeah.
Like they started that when, like this semester, right? Like this spring semester.
Started what? I'm sorry.
The in-person like option.
I don't know when the semester technically started.
I think right now is the first semester back.
Yeah.
There was a big issue, if I'm understanding right, because none of us are there, where last semester they told people classes were going to be a hybrid model until the last week of August, after they had already confirmed that hybrid model, after everyone already got apartments, moved back, all the rest.
That's right. It was August.
Yeah, then they announced like, oh yeah, by the way, we're all online, and I think they like closed one of the dorm buildings or something like that.
Yeah, it was because I was still enrolled, and I got the email saying Berkeley is now completely online, and it was like August, at least second week of August, and it's like that's really late. Because I remember thinking that, like, holy shit, can you imagine?
Deadline,
but
isn't it?
It's way after the tuition. It's way registration's not closed, but like that's way. I had already paid.
But I am gonna say though that it is definitely like an option though. Like I still have friends that are like.
Oh, it's still an option, but I think it was the other way around that was the issue. Like all these, like you were saying, because they said they were going to be hybrid. So all the people that
were there, and then they went through all the trouble to get there.
Think about August, man. Like they probably just re-signed their leases. Like they were planning on moving home. Like they were probably like, okay, I'm going to hang. Because like
and now you signed a year-long lease. If you signed it,
yeah.
You could
like I moved home September 1st, you know, and so it was like, even I was still in Boston when they announced they were doing it. Back to fully online, and I was like, wow, imagine if I resigned and plan on going back.
Yeah.
Trevor, so did you end up taking a course online last semester, or you just didn't take classes?
No, I had one class. That was it.
What did you end up taking online?
I took a couple of classes online, actually, because I was there when it first got like shut down. But again, I was only ever in like 2 classes at a time. The ones I took online were like, one was a video game like implementation class, so I got lucky because I had this computer, and I was able to run all the heavy softwares and do all that. And then
Trevor, remind us what your computer is for the lovely
folks. It's the Alienware. No, I'm just playing. It's just it's a MacBook, but I have the with the i9 processor, and then more importantly, I have at least 32 gigs of RAM on there, so it's enough to load a lot of stuff. But at one time. So I did that online, which was pretty good. And people in my classes who had like the stock Berkeley laptop that they would give us were still able to do some work. But I remember being online and like their shit would crash all day. And then the last class I took was a portfolio film score class. So that's why I had to do the short film and a lot of composition. So it was mostly just me here at the desk, working. It wasn't like I wouldn't have needed a class anyway. That class meets once a week for 30 minutes. So it was almost better online.
Yeah.
Cool.
But I can't imagine having been, I don't know, in global jazz. Like you work your ass off to get to this, and then all of a sudden,
you can't.
Could you imagine like your junior or senior year, you get into global jazz, and then boom, and then you wait 3 semesters.
Or you started your masters,
fall, we're going
or
back.
you started the masters in global jazz, and then you can't fucking do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they're meeting somehow, but it's not a school thing. It's like,
Oh,
bro,
no,
let's get
dude,
together to play, you know? Not
the people that I knew that were telling me about ensembles were saying it literally just became okay, here's the song we're doing, record your part.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, that was ensembles. It was basically like, okay, guys, like we're doing, I don't know, we're gonna do fucking giant steps. So you do
remote
your part.
giant steps.
Yeah, but there's no way that they would ever just you're on your drums.
You can't play
I'm on my
solos. You
guitar.
can't play solos and comp. You know what I mean?
Interact.
They
with the
expected
members
you to.
and,
They would expect you to like make the DAW, like make the like space it out the right way. A section, A prime, B, solo 1, solo 2, and your end, and then you take a solo this time. So leave room for them. And then I can't imagine how many submissions they got of people with the wrong timing and the wrong stuff. It had to have been hundreds. Yeah, I bet they still have that problem.
That's no bueno.
If I might share a little bit of a no bueno from outside the Berkeley realm, I actually edited a choir course's final project up here at U of T, University of Toronto for the folks at home, which was aggressively challenging. Just things were very difficult to sync, and I don't know how they rehearsed, but it took some effort. I think it was going to be a 2-week project. I sent files back and forth with the director for, 2 months. I got a little bit of extra funds for it, but one person was told, fix this ad-lib. So they send me the wrong ad-lib. Oh, well, I'll have time next week. It's like, great, so now I'm taking 2 weeks to edit one ad-lib. It was interesting, and I can only imagine. Berkeley has how many ensembles going simultaneously? 300 or 400, 200? I don't know, hundreds.
Yeah.
It has to be hundreds.
Bro, but wait, how was that? Because so it was like in individual voices recorded, right? And then they sent it to you, and then you put them together?
Yeah, so what they more or less did, I think it was like a round robin type thing. I don't know if that's using that correctly. But they'd start with a bed track. They had like a student teacher who put that together, and then they would pass that on to like the first vocalist. The first vocalist, if they were a lead, they would fill something out. A lot of like how, we facilitate remote collaboration when we're doing instrumental projects. Yeah. Sort of the same thing, but just like so that they had a basis of singing. I don't know if at one point they had like a MIDI vocal guide. I just got the final submissions, and you could tell it was a new skill set for a lot of folks. But that's okay.
Yeah.
It's what it is.
Because I was going to say,
Melodyne can't fix.
Isn't there like an app that does that too? Isn't like a fucking... Because when you see those like posts on not YouTube, on Instagram, where it's like one person recording themselves over and over, and then they harmonize on themselves.
Oh,
that's what they do for like a choir, like what they would do in that situation. But like if they're not good at it, well, I don't know. I guess
like those loop record videos.
Yeah.
That's basically what I did for them. But I was working with not Final Cut Pro. Premiere Pro, Adobe Premiere Pro, or whatever it's called. Premiere. So I was in there, and just like certain things to do it correctly, because again, like they had decently recorded audio. It was more of the video syncing to that audio that was somewhat of a challenge. Mm-hmm. So the audio was decent, mixed, whatever. It had some MIDI instrumentation, whatever. It's a choir. So I mixed that. It was good to go. But in order to combine that with just the monsters, probably 40 videos I got for 9 or 10 singers, there was no iPhone app that was going to let me handle this. I had to go into Premiere, and it took a week. I'm not a fluent video editor, but it took a week or two. Craig, we had, we've had video editing stuff. It takes a little bit if you're not used to it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the shortcuts aren't the same.
The concepts aren't the same.
Yeah. That's got to be hell. Jesus Christ.
I remember opening Final Cut for the first time, and I was like, "This is not Pro Tools. What?" Mm-hmm. What's going on?
Everything that you think means like something, like at the the top of the screen, your option, it has nothing to do like okay, so like what exactly is the difference between how the fuck do they label it? Like your new project versus your new session versus there's a project session and then there's one more thing. It's just like I find it really funny how there's yet to be a single video editing software that is just like as easy to use as like you know I don't know Logic's pretty easy, right? Isn't that kind of like a known thing, I guess?
Yeah, I guess for like people getting started.
Yeah, and
you could probably give it to a newbie in 2 hours, they'd have a song.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
yeah, exactly.
Logic's easy though.
Or you could give it to Billie Eilish's brother, and he'll make her tracks on Logic. So
yeah,
you could also
well, I mean, a lot of people do Logic.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's
A lot of people use Logic.
Yeah, it's not that it's like a bad.
It's it's GarageBand's older brother, definitely.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you know, you could do good things on it. You know,
you can do great things. It's honestly, it's kind of funny. Like the whole reason, like I'm sure we all have a great like first time using Pro Tools like story, but like the very first time I'd ever started using Pro Tools was it was like maybe 2 weeks before Hatestorm went to go record the first record down in Tampa, and like I didn't have anything prepared, nothing. We just knew we were going down there to record an album. Got no idea how it really works, and then so like the guy that was going to be engineering us is asking like, okay, well I'm going to need the the Pro Tools sessions, with the markers and the scratch guitars, so we can get in Constantine drum over that, then I play on that, and so on and so forth. And I was like, wait, you need what? Like, what do I need to do right now?
What's a Pro Tools?
What's up, dude? I had to learn.
Can I get that at Home Depot?
Yeah, right. I had to learn how to use Pro Tool, or I had to learn Pro Tools mostly. Set tempo markings, meter changes. Not that there was a shit ton of those back then. It's like, oh, turn it on 280 and go. But that. And then record all the scratch guitars in like 2 weeks before we drove down to Tampa from Chicago to record the album. I've never I was like losing hair. Like I didn't know what the fuck to do. Like it was horrible, but worked out pretty good.
Craig, how'd you get the session set up and also drive nonstop without sleep or food from Chicago to Tampa? Because I know you did it.
This was a time, man. This was a weird I could go and I could throw somebody under a bus right now that I'm not going to do that to, just on the principles. But let's just say I went down there with 4 people, came back, and then I never saw one of those 4 people ever again after that, because it's just a bad time, man.
Damn.
Yeah.
How long were you down there?
We were down there, so if I remember this correctly, I think Constantine did the drums or the first day was just getting like the new heads on the drums and all that. Then the second and third day were the drum tracking. It was a shorter album. I think that first Haystorm is only like 42 minutes or something like that. It's a short album. Then I remember we didn't go back to the studio for like 3 or 4 days because the producer Brian Warner, I think was his name. He's not at that studio anymore. But his intention was to get the drums set the best he could before I tracked over it, just to make sure everything was solid. And man, I don't it must have just been like a happening week in Tampa, because in those 3 or 4 days, me and Constantine, we saw Obituary.
Oh shit.
Yeah, we saw Gigi Allen's band, the Murder Junkies. Yeah, we saw the Murder Junkies minus a dead Gigi Allen at the Brass Mug, and it was that show. Okay, this is a really good story. So at that show, at the end of the set, because I think it's the all original band, they're a bunch of old dudes and shit like that. At the end of the set, the drummer takes his drumstick and he sticks it in a jar of Vaseline, and in front of the entire audience, just right on up.
But
and he was naked the whole time. I gotta also say this. He was naked the whole show.
As he should be.
No. Should be.
But wait. So the side of the stick that was that had all the hits from the drums. Not the blunt side that at least is smoother.
Not the blunt side. The other side.
Bro, you could bleed to death.
Yep.
If you get a splinter in there, bro,
I don't even want to know, man.
But you were there. You were there, and that's the important part.
Honest to God's truth, I was there, but I could not watch. Like, I turned away when he was I couldn't do it. I was only like 16 or 17, 16, I think. And like I couldn't take that. Like, Constantine will regularly joke about the fact that he still has nightmares about it because he saw it. And like later that night we were just kind of hanging out with a couple of friends that were in the area, and Constantine goes to use the bathroom, and Righties is about to like open the door. Like, imagine like you're walking to a door, go to open up the handle on the door, and then the door opens and it's the drummer, and he just walks out from the bathroom. Oh my God, dude. What a night. Tampa's wild. It is a crazy time.
My coworker I think he's flying out there tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's from there.
Florida's is about as open and such as you guys are right now.
Probably worse.
Probably
more free.
I was gonna say, y'all are getting on airplanes down there. That's kind of crazy. I can't even like sit down at a restaurant.
I take that back. He's driving.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
That's cool.
But
that's not a bad drive from
like
Houston to
maybe 10 hours.
Yeah, it's about 10 hours, but that's when
really?
we went to when we went
but you lose an hour though because it's a different time zone, right?
Yeah, but you physically.
Well, I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
Well, okay, that reminds me of
that. No, that was great. That was great.
There's that meme going around that's like, the GOP cautions against electing more millennials to Congress. It's like, well, yeah, but given the linear way that time works, what's the alternative in a few years here?
Yeah. We're getting real close, man. Real close.
That is true.
Time.
It's our time to make music.
It's like a kind of clock.
Oh.
It's time to term limit Congress. That's what it's time for.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. You know what? I'm glad you said it.
Somebody had to fucking say it. Somebody. Thank you, Tyler.
Hey, I'm not there. They can't get me.
No one in Congress is saying it.
Oh my God.
Someone's got to say it. Good thing it's Tyler.
That's
Tyler
so
Novak.
Fucking funny.
Or T Novak. What is it?
T Novak
music.
Yeah.
T Novak music.
Everybody. I remembered this time.
Yes, he did. Go on your Instagrams right now. T Novak music.
Catch
Follow
more
this
of this.
man.
You want some?
You're gonna need
some
him in your life.
Death Grits heavy stuff. Tyler's got it.
Yeah, I get like a bunch of outdated pictures of mountains, but
they're good.
More
they're
hot
good.
content's coming soon.
It's coming. Oh my God.
Oh God, content. He said it. He said the C word.
Content. We're jumping on the C word.
That's the special word of the day. You win a free beer.
Oh, hey.
Oh shit.
How are you gonna get
I don't
that
have any
beer?
beer.
Oh yeah.
It's for me, bro.
It's
You won me a free beer. Don't you know how this game works?
Oh my God.
Oh, I forgot you're Canadian. Bro, why isn't your head sawed in half?
I'm
Oh,
not
yeah.
Canadian. I just
Oh,
live
yeah.
here. What are you
Yeah.
doing? I'm not full South Park yet.
What are you doing? Yeah, but I would think at this point that you would have at least gotten something, like a little bit of line showing.
What's the fuck with the guy in Harry Potter, nearly headless Nick? I'm not nearly headless yet.
Yeah. Soon.
I don't want you to look like him. I want you to
soon
look
until
like...
you come back, and then you'll be fine. You'll be safe
Yeah.
again. Come back, child. We miss you so much.
Yo, okay, so here's a great one, guys.
Sounds
there
like a
now
song.
Is there's
Come
a new
back, child.
What?
Sounds like a song. Come back, child. I miss you so much.
We can write that song right now.
Right now. Wait, that's
It's done.
That's a lot to ask.
It's
though.
done,
But-
bro. Here it is. I'll
done.
upload it right now. BeatStar.
But some doom and gloom. Canada, well, not serious doom and gloom. It didn't affect anything, but they put in a new policy up here where all international flights incoming to the country from anywhere require the passengers to stay in a government-sanctioned hotel for 3 to 4 days or until their COVID tests come back from the airport, and it costs $2,000 out of pocket to the federal government.
Canadian?
Not to the
Yes.
person, not to the individual flying
Well,
in.
no. I mean that individual pays
Okay.
$2,000 to the government. So there's
Fuck.
currently an exodus of like Canadians coming from Florida and the Caribbean to fly back home right now. This is a strange world.
dude.
It's very nice. It's very lovely. It's very cold, which is lovely. But a very confusing world right now.
Trudeau's up there like, hey, we can make some money off this, eh?
Jesus.
Bro, but like I understand getting tested and having your test be like within the 72 hours or whatever for you to get there. Or you know what? Fuck it. Also, you need to stay in a hotel for 4 days. It's not even the whole quarantine time, but you also need to pay for that. It's like
or $2,000. A COVID
Yeah.
test in hotel for a couple days is not $2,000.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, everyone up here, just like everywhere else in the Northeast in the U.S., they all like go down to Florida and the Caribbean and whatnot for like March break or spring break or whatever.
Yeah,
So,
it's freezing up there. I wouldn't want to
Yeah,
be.
yeah, man. So like they're trying to discourage folks from doing so, which like, yes, the point makes sense, but like, holy crap, I've been stuck up here for a while.
Yep.
Well, okay, wait. So trying to discourage people from leaving and coming back, so mainly so they don't go through like a fucking airport to then come back to Canada to bring more virus into Canada. Okay, got it. Still though, it's like, why am I paying for that? I don't know.
I'm on board with this plan until you said the money. What?
Yeah.
And the other thing with it, again, I'm not insulting Canada here. It's just inconvenient. But like, there's a loophole in that you can drive over the border, and as long as you drive, you're good.
It's as long as
no
you don't
hotel.
fly.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right.
You
So
can
this
drive.
is the idea.
So we have to drive in there and get Tyler.
You take the flight from Florida to Chicago, and then you get in your rent a car. You go from Chicago right across that border. It's easy.
And then I pop up here, in like July, and they're like, "Yeah, why are you here?" I'm like, "Yeah, I have a student permit." And then they look at me like, "Oh, didn't you just graduate?" Yes.
Yes.
Like,
Wow.
And they'll be like, okay.
Man, that's fucking wild.
well,
That is pretty wild.
it's a different world. But yeah, different stuff. No one's going to Tampa.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you have a shit ton of money
Now-
and you don't care about
Now,
spending
is this
but-
every
Yeah.
flight
Yeah, exactly.
coming into Canada?
My understanding is that yes, this is every international flight.
Wow.
Yeah, all U.S. destinations. Was like, there's a lot of special travel stuff between the U.S. and Canada because like a huge amount of Canadians have like family in the States and vice versa. So like we have our own line at the airport. Like Americans going to Canada, get in this line.
Oh,
Great.
Okay.
But like, there's no concessions like that at this point. They're just trying to. I guess vaccines are a little slow, so they're trying to do what they can.
Okay, so I guess that brings the next question. So vaccines are slow, but how's the contagion in it? Is it growing? Are the hospitalizations growing?
To my knowledge, the entire world is still growing.
Well, so like now we're on a downward trend in Ontario, but like Ontario provincially, again these numbers might be horribly wrong, but I think like 4,000 cases a day was the highest we ever hit, and there's 14 million people here. So like that's rather exceptional, given that like everyone I know in Georgia has had COVID or knows someone with COVID. I don't up here. I know of one person's uncle in Toronto that had COVID. That's it.
I've been
Is
around.
he okay?
He's fine. Yeah, fortunately.
Tremendous.
My boss has had COVID. We had to like emergency get everybody at the bike shop. We had to close the shop and we all had to go get tested.
Yeah.
And then my owners, they still haven't been in because he got tested positive. And then 2 weeks later, he tested again and he still tested positive.
Oh.
So he owns this bike shop and he hasn't been able to go in for 4 weeks.
Wow.
And we just did renovations and he couldn't be there for renovations.
Damn.
So
The renovations due to the truck smashing into your front door.
Oh,
or
we already
whatnot?
did that.
Wait,
yeah.
Wait,
already-
what?
Yeah,
Whoa,
sorry.
whoa,
Dude, this
whoa,
is
whoa.
a story. This is a
Oh
story.
yeah.
Yes.
Dude, yeah, it's the bikes. The bike demand is up like 4 times, but there's also a worldwide bike shortage.
Okay.
So like to my knowledge, every bike shop in Houston has been robbed at least twice, like, and including my shop. And we got hit one time. They kind of just crowbarred through the door and broke the lock and was like, they took maybe a couple bikes, but a couple bikes is still $50,000. And
Howdy, partner. Give me your bike.
so we started putting like we'd lock up our door, and then we started putting a bike lock around the door because we have one of those weird. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know what kind of name to describe it, but we could bike lock so they couldn't pry it open. So they drove a truck through it the second time, and they broke through, and then so people started saying we should get the gates that close down. We were like, well, another bike shop had that, and they still drove through it enough to bend it so that they could crawl under there and slide bikes out. So we got a lot of cool shit. We got first of all, we got the concrete barriers in front. So the possibility of even driving a car through is not going to happen.
This is a bike shop. This is a bike shop. This is not a dispensary. This is a bike shop. Continue.
Hey, bikes are expensive. Think about it. We did in 2020. We did 3.5 million for the year.
What?
Yeah.
2020, people are locked in their houses and they can't go anywhere. I want a fucking bike. Honestly, I've been
everybody that owns a bike is trying to get it fixed, and everybody that wants a bike is trying to get a bike.
Mm-hmm.
And the delays are. I mean, I looked a bike up for a guy today, and for me to get it for him, it would show up in, I think it was January of 22.
Oh my God!
Jesus,
that's pretty light. There's another. I mean, I've seen bikes as far out as May of 22. Like, I would tell a guy, it'd be funny for me, maybe not so funny for them, but I would tell them, for you to get it from me, because I already ordered a bunch of bikes, you'll see it in August. I was like, but if you wanted to get it from Trek or anyone else who hadn't bought the bike already, you'll see it in April of 22. And so it's
wow.
Yeah, bike demands are very high. But yeah, a lot of bike theft.
Crazy.
Wow. But yeah, my owners got COVID, and they couldn't, we bought the shop next door, so we knocked the wall down, and eventually going to move in there. We already did the renovations. We're just waiting on the city to come inspect it, because can't put product.
So yes, clearly you guys got really legit bikes, but how about just going to Walgreens? Oh, not Walgreens, Walmart, and getting a $300 bike there?
Well,
this is a point I have already brought up.
It's maybe the difference of okay, do you want to go buy a car that's worth $1,000 or $9,000 or $50,000? Like the quality.
Okay, well, here's the thing: do you want something that's less expensive or more expensive?
But the difference is quality. It's like it is with anything. What's the difference between a $200 drum kit or a whole drum set versus a $2,000 shells?
$1,800.
It's just quality and build. You buy a bike from Walmart and it'll be $150. You might have to buy 3 of them that year, because the shifters are made of plastic, they're heavy, they're super heavy, and they just don't. Everything's proprietary, so if you do break something, the company doesn't make more parts, and because it's specific, so there's a whole actual
okay,
actual bike shop brands. It's like cars in a way, they all run the same kind of way. You can get parts, you can do all that stuff. And it's expensive. It's a pretty expensive hobby. Expensive enough that I only do it because I work there. If I didn't work in a shop to get all the mad discounts, I would not be into cycling.
Craig, I need you to shut the fuck up. Craig, you're being too loud right now.
I don't know, man. I'm still thinking about my $300 Walgreens bike. I want that right now. I don't need.
Okay,
you know what?
But even $300 is more than a Walmart bike. So Walgreens must be on some other shit, man.
Walgreens is the best.
They still
That's
sell
where I get all my equipment.
They're one of the only. Well, I don't know. I know CVS doesn't sell cigarettes, but is Walgreens one of the only places that is a pharmacy that still sells cigarettes?
Yes.
Wait, they do that?
As far as I remember, yeah.
Because I remember in 2013 or 2014, CVS was we're done. No more cigarettes. Which was
good
a
on them.
Huge cut. Yeah, great on them. Because they were. I think it was their owner came out and was just I was just we're a fucking pharmacy. Why are we selling cigarettes?
Yeah.
And so, but I don't know. No one else hopped on board that. I thought it was going to
distract me from my pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you go back behind the counter and it's all Nicorette and all those help you quit stuff. And it's wow, you guys really Christianed up.
Yeah.
You guys want to know the Canadian equivalent to CVS and Walgreens?
It's probably something like Looney Greens or Toonie Greens, right?
Is it CVS, eh?
It's shop. Okay, so a real quick aside. The amount of American companies that show up here, slap a maple leaf on the logo, and then just like, yep, good to go, is amazing. Domino's,
Guitar Center,
HGTV, Walmart, McDonald's, slap a maple leaf on it, good to go.
You're forgetting the A's.
Nice.
Sorry?
Yeah.
You're forgetting all the A's.
Yeah, there's a lot of A's you're missing.
Indeed. But, so it's called Shoppers Drug Mart, which just like, doesn't that sound like the most generic, just... You know where
Sounds pretty
Shoppers
intense.
Drug.
It sounds like a place where I could buy a bike.
Well, okay.
Yeah, like a really good bike.
Like
Dude, it sounds like that.
really
that
good bike.
what's that show? Fuck. They have the place they shop at, and it's called like Shop Mart, and they just buy everything there. Like
Oh, are you talking about food and stuff?
food and stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Food
from
and
Parks and
stuff,
Rec.
man.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like
This is
what do
where I
they
go
have?
for all my
They have
food and all my stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I go to Shoppers Drug Mart and I get well, and then you know where this came from?
You get
This
what?
This beer came from a store that is legit called the Beer Store,
I mean,
and it's
Why don't
one
we
of
live there?
it's one of the
That
two
works.
places you're allowed to buy beer in Canada.
I'll tell you what. That sounds like a great place to get a new bike.
The Beer Store. You guys carry track.
You know what? I'm
Bike.
just gonna turn everything off. I think this is the cut.
When was that time? What was that time when me? I don't think Craig was there. It was the three of us, and we went to Natick to get Chick-fil-A. And
Oh.
but I feel like because remember
Yeah.
I used to work at a bike shop that had a shop in Natick. I remember we went to the liquor store or something. And I was like, man, this bike shop looks weird. Like, that was a big liquor store. I don't remember what that place was called, but it was like a Costco of just fucking beer and liquor, wine.
I remember the three of us going to Chick-fil-A in the pickup truck when it existed, but I don't remember the Costco beer store somehow.
Yeah, we popped. You wanted to go there.
I'm sure I
popped
did.
We popped in there. I bought oh man, what did I buy? I bought some disgusting shit. It wasn't even worth it. But that place was like, you'd be like, whoa, like this is a big ceiling, like kind of place, you know? Like the first thing you notice is how fucking tall the ceiling is. Shit. And it was next to like a bunch of other, like really, it was like what?
A bunch
I
of
didn't
other
feel like
tall
we were.
ceilings.
I didn't feel like we were in Boston anymore. You know, like I felt like we were, because we weren't. But I felt like we were way in a different place. Like it started feeling like Texas a little bit. I
Oh,
was like,
dude,
whoa.
we were at Total Wine.
Total Wine. That's right.
Holy
Total
shit.
Wine.
We don't need to discuss Total Wine on the podcast. We can edit
Oh.
this, but
Okay.
no, Total
No,
Wine.
go on. I'm curious.
Total Wine is just like, I remember that place. It's amazing. You go in there and they have like, I don't know, just like Trevor said, it's a Costco size, or like cut a Costco into quarters.
I'll put it this way.
Costco's are large.
I had to look
Yeah.
for them. Like if
Oh,
we got
wow.
separated,
Okay.
like it
Yeah.
took 5 minutes to find your buddy. Like it was like, where's mom at? Like what's
Buddy?
going on?
Guy?
That guy's got
Where'd
a
you
similar
go?
haircut as mom. Is that mom?
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah,
it
yeah.
was easily like a grocery store size, like a mini grocery store. Like think of half. Like,
But the real question is, do they have bikes?
Yeah, but
of
do they have
course.
bikes though?
What do you think we went there
Okay.
for?
Total Wine has the best bikes.
They have like little like, not cup holders, but like wine holders, so that you can
Oh yeah,
deliver
right
your
on
wine and drink your wine.
Oh,
as
you know
you're-
what? You know what I actually almost
That's a
bought
move.
was for my bike. It's a little bag. It sits over the top tube, and then there's 6 slots. You put beer. You can ride with a 6-pack and open. And then I almost bought another thing. It was called the stash bag, and it was made by the same company. So you get your 6-pack, and then you have the stash bag, and it's like for your phone or your other stash. And I was like, oh yeah,
Nice.
perfect.
Other stash? What?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Your cookies, bro.
Oh, the cookies.
Yeah, bro. Your Chips
Nice.
Ahoy.
Your Chips Ahoy.
No, your tater tots, bro. Like in.
Oh yeah, of course.
Like in, Napoleon.
So
Jesus Christ.
tater tots in my house just means
Yeah.
something different.
Oh.
That's great.
In your house, like your house, or like Canada?
Like
you
my
saying
literal house, like with
Are
my
you
3
saying- okay.
roommates. There's just
Are you saying that tater tots is a regular thing in your house,
Oh.
and even though it's a regular thing, you're not happy with the fact that tater tots are a regular thing because the tots are just not good enough?
I think usually tater tots mean balls in my house. That's what I mean.
Really?
Balls?
But, yeah.
What the fuck?
But like,
That's-
yeah, whatever you're
tater
talking about
tots are
sounds
you
good.
eating?
Craig is not liking that one.
Well,
Craig
yeah.
did not like the tater
No,
tot.
not that I don't like it. That's an interesting comparison, I guess. Like tater tots. Like.
Well,
I
okay,
don't know.
so let's just do something that totally isn't this. You know, Trevor, how you're talking about like militarizing your freaking bike shop. Back to the original point here. So
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I'm working at a new Sherwin-Williams. I work at 2 of these paint stores for the folks back home, and I hope we're back home. So. One of these stores, the guy texts me before I show up. Just like, yeah, man, I don't have a key. Just like, here's the code for the back gate. Open that up and the back door's unlocked. It's like, yeah, sure, okay. This place is in my neighborhood. I live in an interesting place. Toronto's expensive. I'm a student. Fine. So I go to this place.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's like 6:30, 6:15 a.m. And like I open, it's like a bike, like a 99-cent bike lock, like a wire thing with 4 plastic numbers.
Oh yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
okay, this is protecting this multi-million-dollar retail store. Great, in this interesting place. All right, I'll just open this door. So I, do one of those. Go to the door. It's not open. It's like, oh, what? So I call the manager. He's like, oh yeah, bro. Here's the thing. If it's not open, just go to the garage door. Kick it really hard. That'll loosen it on the bottom. Stick your fingers under it. Heave the door up. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, just
So you
heave
want
the
me to
door up.
Break into this place.
There's a gate on the other side, right? So I heave the door up, and there's still a gate. I was like, yeah, great, man. What do I do? There's a gate there. He's like, oh, yeah. Just climb it. It's like, you want my ass to climb 10 feet in the air and scale down a rack of paint at 6:15 a.m. So I did it.
Nice.
Nice.
No squatters in the paint
Wow.
store. They usually do leave the back door unlocked.
Will say something.
Good time.
Tyler, I am so proud of you.
All right.
Robot
Pause.
Will is back.
Everybody. Tremendous. What were you just about to say, Trevor?
Oh, so
Wait, no, you're gonna shut up now, Trevor.
I love that.
Tyler, you had to finish something before we cut you off.
I'm just talking about how I broke into my place of employment due to my
Yep.
manager's instructions. That's all. We can move on.
All right, tremendous. So
All
now that
right.
we know that Tyler is a criminal, we're now going to move on to
Legally?
Trevor and what he has. Oh, a legal criminal. Ah,
Now-
I
now-
see. You
but
you
here's the
work
thing.
in
How do you-
Congress, don't you?
How do you like what if this probably wouldn't happen in Canada, but
Yeah.
what, like let's say you're in Detroit, all right?
Yeah.
And you're breaking into your Sherman-Williams.
For our viewers,
What?
Detroit is definitely not Canada. Just
And
Nope.
There's
you know,
definitely a
cop rolls
difference.
Up, cop rolls up, woo, and he's like, "Hey,
Wait,
um,
what cop is rolling up like?
bro? Detroit
Yo.
cops, bro. That's what they do.
Is that
They
you as a
roll up,
cop, Trevor?
You know, they fire the siren once, and then they get out, and they
Woo.
go, "Hey, what are you doing?" And you're like, "Oh, I'm, going into work." And like, what's to stop that? Like I guess you could prove that you work there somehow, but like, what if they were just like, you look like you're breaking in, so you're donezo. Like,
I mean, dude,
they
between
technically could like just arrest you and not ask questions.
between my very, very sad 6:15 a.m. face and the fact that like anyone looking at me trying to hop a fence is gonna look at that and know this guy's not doing that voluntarily. He needs to get over that fence. They're gonna
Officer,
leave
I
me
don't want to
alone.
be here.
Yeah, I don't want to be here either, man. Please let me go.
That's pretty
Boom.
fair.
Fine, kid. Your day is bad. You just
Yeah. Yeah.
get over that
Have you
fence.
seen my see-through glasses, sir? Do I look like the type? Like I'm just trying to fucking graduate and get the fuck out of this shithole. I mean, oh, I love Canada. Kidding, huh? No, I'm kidding.
You're forgetting the A's.
A
Oh,
A.
I'm still looking at Chicago. We'll see, boys.
Man, that would be great.
The job market will determine an awful lot.
Oh,
Dude, I'm
oh,
telling
yeah.
you,
Oh,
we
God.
should just all move to Austin.
think it's not a bad idea.
It's a great idea.
It's an amazing idea.
Because the housing market, first of all, it's flooding because everyone from California is moving to Austin. But when COVID ends, that's going to be the center of entertainment.
Yeah.
It will be it. LA is donezo. It's moving on. It's rebirthing as Austin.
But bro,
what about Nashville?
I just hope. I mean, Austin's always been Austin. Like, it's always been the more liberal area of like fucking Texas. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, just okay, post COVID, but
Texas is cool.
You know what I mean?
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Texas is cool, and for pricing, think about all the careers that we try to go for, whether it be opening a studio, trying to meet other people, get film gigs going. It's all so much easier in Austin because we can have cars, we can live outside the city, we can get a house, and we could pay way less than we paid in Boston for anything.
Oh yeah.
And actually get property and not pay tax on things that you don't have to pay tax on.
I'm bringing Ivan. Bring Ivan. We'll have anywhere we want to go with that fucking bitch, man.
Dude, I mean, I could
have our way. Gig every weekend if we want. Doesn't even fucking matter. We got Ivan.
Guys, if we were in Texas, the Volkswagen would be with me. Come on.
That's fine. You know why it would be fine? Because we'd have a fucking driveway big enough to fit them all.
Yep.
16-car garage.
We could rent and you know how much? It'd be like $50 a month. For a 16-car garage. It's so fucking cheap, dude. I looked up the other day, if we wanted to rent a 4-bedroom, rent, not buy. If we wanted to rent a 4-bedroom house, 30 to 45 minutes from the city, we're looking at $2,200, $2,500 a month total.
Nice.
And I'm talking living room, kitchen, 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom, driveway with their garage, a backyard, fucking studios. You know what I mean? You could do all that in Austin. And then think about every year is all the film festivals, all the music festivals. They all happen in Austin, multiple times a year.
The dream of the 90s is alive in Austin.
It's easily the most expensive city in Texas to live in. Probably, I think. But it's that's
more than
still
Dallas?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Dallas is fucking garbage. Bro.
Yeah.
Nobody goes there.
Okay.
If you go to Dallas,
well, shit. Goddamn.
My cousins live in Dallas.
They're retarded, bro. They need anybody.
They might be. I don't know.
Okay. I met a lot of guys from Texas at Berkeley, and I remember meeting one kid who was like, "Yeah, I'm from Dallas," and I was drunk, and my immediate response was, "Oh, I'm sorry," and he said, "Yeah," he's like, "I understand." He was like, "Yeah, I get it. It sucks.
Yeah.
I've been to Dallas once, I've been to Dallas 3 times, but it's never once was I had oh yeah, this is the best time of my life. I go to Austin and I have a grand old time.
Yeah.
Just mountain biking. It's really nice. It's a good place up there. It's You could go, let me tell you. Last time I was in Austin, I was with Mike. He was like, "You want to go swimming?" I was like, "Yeah, And I'm thinking, yeah, we're gonna go somewhere in someone's house that has a pool, or we're gonna go to somewhere." He pulls up on the side of the fucking road, and he's like, "All right, let's go." And we pulled out a cooler of beer, and we walked into the fucking random woods off the highway in Austin. Yeah. I'm still in the city limits. We're not in some random place. And we just walked into these woods to a fucking watering hole. There's a whole bunch of people. Everyone's got beer, just chilling.
Dope.
This is the coolest fuck. I was like, what the fuck? Where would you ever be we're gonna walk into the woods for a little while with some beer, and there's just gonna be this great watering hole. It's all fucking natural. There's a rope. Someone put a rope on a tree. You can swing in. Some classic 50s kids shit, but it's still going on.
I think you got Will. Will's down.
I saw that
too.
No,
no, but you could do that here. That's not that hard or weird to
exactly.
find.
You'd feel like home.
Yeah.
All you need is and hey, there's no iguanas.
But dude, have you ever had a Chinese food place okay, never mind. You got me with the armadillos. Anyway, I was gonna say a joke about iguanas, and then Chinese fast food places giving you iguanas and telling you it's chicken or something. It's delicious anyway.
What?
But whatever.
I've had iguana before.
It's a joke. They don't do that. They definitely don't do that. It's delicious.
They do that. They do that all day. Eat the iguana. That's what the Perfect Circle album should have been called.
Eat the iguana.
Eat the iguana.
Oh
man.
That should have been the name of the new Tool album. Eat the iguana.
Yeah.
Is it still new? Can we say that? I don't know.
Nah, I don't think so.
I mean, 2019, not even 2 years.
Dude,
Tool,
all right,
the world is
2020
new.
alone was like 73 years.
Dude,
like, so
you're
technically,
so right and so wrong because
No,
it
I'm
was
only
eternity,
right.
but it was like a blink of an eye to me too. Like
not at all. Not even a
Really?
little bit.
Oh, maybe it's just because I worked the whole time. Like,
Probably.
That's probably all
To
I-
be honest, not to say that your life didn't change, because your life absolutely changed, but like at the same time, I think living in like, blue Illinois, where like everything has literally been not quite up to standards with Canada, obviously.
oh yeah,
But like everything here is very, very serious about all of this stuff, and it's like, I
other
don't
thing
know.
with
It's just
you-
it's felt like a long
but
time.
the other thing with you is
That seems like a good thing. You're like complaining
but
about.
Craig. But
Yeah.
Craig lost his job.
That
was a
Yeah.
big thing.
Yeah.
I feel like like if I did my hour check and I work about 45 hours a week,
No, nice.
and so.
Mm.
But that's pretty normal. Like I've been doing
Yeah.
that for a long time now, and like not to say that I work so hard, but it's just I'm
No. Yeah,
on my
yeah.
days off. I kind of get a little anxiety because I feel like I'm supposed to be doing something,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
so I love working. It's like it's fun for me. That being
Yeah.
said, I couldn't imagine if right now someone was like, you can't go to work anymore. Like what?
Yeah.
That's 45 hours a week of like what am I supposed to do?
No.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
There's
and-
lots
and-
of that.
and there's a point where like it's like, oh well, go to the gym, or it's like no, you don't get it. Like
Yeah.
for 9 hours a day, what am I
Yeah.
supposed to do? And so I guess I can see how this becomes the longest fucking year. You know,
Yeah.
of,
Yeah.
like-
It's
and
Will's absolutely right. Like it's up to a part of it. It is a dream. Like the idea of like, this whole time, more or less, with the exception of like that weird first 3 months where I didn't apply and then suddenly I applied for like unemployment and the such. Like, it's awesome to just be able to stay home and make, just about as much as I made, subbing. But like at the same time, and obviously being able to have all this time to be, there working with Dan on the record and such. But this is another conversation for another time. But like, yeah, it's a lot of that. It's like I really had to figure out how to like rework my my days and my routine, because one of the first things I noticed, like when quarantine was probably into its like third or fourth week, was my hour that I would like start drinking was like it was it was starting like half hour up until the point where like I had once, like, I don't want to say scary because it wasn't like fucking terrifying or anything like that, but like I had one day where I was like passed out and dunzos by like 6:15. You know what I mean? And it was a scary idea of just like, this is what you do when you can't do anything. is
Yeah.
You're just gonna drink until you pass out before the night started. Like, what the fuck is this shit? And
Yeah.
then that's when I kind of started kind of structuring. Okay, so I'm gonna run super late, so I can't drink before I go run, so I can be and then use the day to. It could be things like, obviously there's a lot of record prep, and then I had started getting things done for Dan for the Unholy Rights project, which I'm super excited also to be able to show off eventually.
I was gonna say, when was that supposed? I thought that was like never gonna happen at this point.
Oh, so me and him actually just had an awesome conversation, or I should say a little text back and forth today about the fact I was like, by the way, I'm pretty much done with everything I got to worry about in Mystical Land, so I'm jumping back on the Unholy train for a little while. Gotta do the Angry Boy thing for an EP or an album. I don't know what he wants to do, but it's gonna be a good time.
And this is his band then?
This is
So Dan,
Unholy is-
producer Dan, or like one of the other Dans?
No, Daniel Martinez.
Okay,
Daniel
okay,
Martinez
okay, yeah.
of Atheist.
I
yeah.
guess for Preb, Daniel Martinez is a colleague of ours,
Yeah.
a good friend who
Yep.
What?
plays
He's-
for Atheist,
Atheist. Yep.
and this
yeah.
motherfucker can shred.
He is terrifying.
Terrifying is a good word.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he is so humble. He is just like, I remember meeting him and thinking, like, dude, we were like friends way before I started simping over his guitar playing. Like, and then all of a sudden I was like, dude, like you never told me you were fucking Jeff Loomis. Like,
yeah.
Well, I remember I met Dan after he did sub in your in one of your Hate Storm things. For
Yeah,
your
he
final
did
which was the
right?
best Hate Storm show I've ever seen.
Yeah,
By far.
It's pretty
I've
good.
been to a few.
It was. I enjoyed that set a lot. I think between having a second guitarist to kind of fill things out and have like a rhythm player while there's like a lead thing going on or whatever, and then Yoav's energy.
Oh, dude,
was just like
Yoav's bass
that was
amp
a
freaked me
fun
out,
show,
and then
man.
Oh, those guys just you could tell how excited they were to play the music, and that just made it awesome.
Yeah.
So awesome.
I remember that
Tyler,
show.
were you there for?
Really cool.
Speaking of that show, that was when Yoav played that. And I hope he watches this.
Oh,
that fucking,
the mini
was that?
the mini Ampeg rig.
Yeah,
yeah.
With like a
the little tiny stack
with
What?
like
tens
the
with
baby
little head?
one.
it was like a
Oh my
210 stack
God.
or something. Like I don't even know if it was probably 210, like upright, and then the little bass, and it was like, what the fuck is that thing? Sounded nasty, man. It was awesome.
Yeah, he's a monster bassist. That like okay, so just we'll continue to feed this unholy rights train a little bit, like start getting it promoted for Dan because Dan deserves this recognition.
Because Dan deserves all of it.
all of it.
Motherfucker
Yoav plays bass in that,
And Yoav,
so like,
of course, who is
yeah.
also an atheist.
who is also an atheist. So like you've got, and again to re-establish like or not establish, but like to re-push this point, it is Dan's music 100%. It is Yoav's bass playing 100%. Like I don't think Dan's sitting there with them being like a Nazi like me with Tyler. Tyler, you will play this note, and then you will play this note, and then you will play this note.
Do not slide. You will
Do
have
not,
it.
no. But like,
my life feed.
so he does, he does his thing, and then like all my job's pretty much gonna be to just write lyrics and do some
scream.
screaming over
Nice.
it.
Now,
But, yeah.
did you not do one song already? Who was it?
Well, no. I have two songs. I have two songs ready for that project right now, but they haven't been
but
released yet.
what was it you did vocals on that you posted like a video of and the lyrics for?
That was the Blood Soaked project.
That's
Yes, I've done so.
That was also nasty.
This. Oh yeah, no, that's Pete. Okay. Obviously, I don't want to go super hard into
No,
this
that's
just
fine.
because I feel like this is becoming like a disgusting like. Here's me that but. Anybody watching interested? I have done vocals on 3 blood-soaked tracks.
You're too humble about this. You're way like you at this point. You're up there in like death metal folklore at this point. Like,
Yeah, brother. No, You know what?
don't know,
the
bro.
man.
First of all,
He's
your
the
voice
man.
is okay. Everybody needs to check out Craig's voice because this motherfucker sings beautiful, but his growls are like no other. It is a demon. There is a demon in Craig, and it comes out every now and then. And
I appreciate that.
Yes, and his dude, yeah, you got that death metal shit down. Because I remember even the first time I heard Hate Storm, and I still listen to that first record.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
and not for no reason because it's your band, because it's really fucking good. It's
Thanks,
really good. I saw you guys play with Origin, and you guys were way better than Origin. Like, way better. And
Wow.
Origin's huge. Dude, it was, like, obvious, though. It wasn't like it was really fucking obvious. Like, they were so... I forget who that first band was. It was, like, a local Houston band, maybe.
Yeah,
And then
but they
Craig
were also
played.
really good. I can't remember who
They
they
were
were.
great.
But
They were really
yeah.
good. And then Craig plays. That shit was awesome. Like, beyond awesome. And then Origin plays, and it was like, all right, like, this is getting kind of boring. Like, Hate Storm is the shit, and it's just Craig's it has nothing to do with... it has a lot to do with that, but it has nothing to do with the technicality or the right. It's Craig's understanding of death metal. And, like, you know, that's his niche, you know. It's a good way to put it in the terms of, like, he understands it the right way, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of death metal over the past, I don't know, 20 years is not
Yeah.
death metal. And
Yeah.
Craig's like, no, I got it. Like, don't worry about it. So, but
I understand it well enough to have found a way to start incorporating it into what we do. So that's the really
Yeah,
exciting
well, okay,
part.
yeah.
I was gonna say.
So
there's
that's the
there's
confusing
To be
part. No, I'm
honest.
kidding. It's like, wait. This is holy shit. Oh God! But wait, let's not get too into it, because
No, we won't.
I was
gonna
say there's a certain moment that I'll allude to very, very briefly here, where for about 7.5 minutes, I was hanging out, I was having a good time, and then all of a sudden, Craig showed up in his full sound I can't make, and just oh.
Bro, I want to say something else though, but I don't know if it's. I want to mention the other singer I mentioned to Craig, just when. Okay. No, this is not death metal at all.
Oh, okay.
But that's
okay,
why
yeah.
that's why I think it's funny.
Let me finish the death metal thing then, because when speaking of everything I just said about Craig and Origin playing, let me reiterate something. I saw them on the last show of, what was it, like 30 show tour?
We played, I think it was 33 played dates over 35 days. We had 2 days off in a 35-day span.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I asked Craig, I remember asking him, like, one of the first things I said is, how's your voice? He's like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Was shocked I would even ask. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like, it's the 33rd show, and you're just, like, up there, like, ooh, like, and it's like, damn. Yeah. That's fucking gnarly, man. Like, it's the demon. I'm saying, there's a demon in it, man. And it comes out every now and then, and it has no, what's the word? Like, when Craig goes to sleep on tour, that's when the demon comes out, too. Because, like, otherwise Craig would have died. Like, it comes out, and it's like, I have no pain. I have no problems.
I'm speaking like reverse in tongues and shit like that. Like,
well, I'll never forget one of those moments. I think we were listening to Flesh God Apocalypse, which was new to me at that point. Nice. When like everyone crashed but the two of us, which happened before I took over driving, and everyone crashed.
Yeah.
So like we were going.
Wait, hold up.
No, we actually crashed.
And then everyone crashed.
We're just sleeping right now. So. Yeah, I remember talking to you for like a while about Flesh God. And it was like, dude, so like when you heard this stuff when you were younger or whatever, like any of this, what did it say to you? And I just remember you like in this very calm, just like the most polite voice ever. You could have been ordering at Chick-fil-A. You turn to me and you go, anger. And just okay, I get it.
My pleasure. And then he
said that. My pleasure. Have a blessed day. Yeah. Oh, fuck.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I remember meeting Craig. We had a class together, and then I went to your house that one time, and we hung out. Oh, my God. I went up just to say hi, and we hung out for like 3 hours.
Yeah,
and
good time.
Man, he's just like, yeah, I like Cannibal Corpse. And I was like, what? And it has had nothing to do with anything except that your attitude just never gives that off. It's like you would never talk to this guy and think this man loves death. Like he's got, I got death metal tattooed on my asshole. Like, that hardcore. Like,
which he does.
Dude, I think
look it up.
I think that's the thing that's always kind of been weird with like me and death metal, and I think it's kind of played a bit into just the fact I've never quite fit the part completely, at least as the person goes and the aesthetic and like
Corpse Grinder,
like Corpse, like I enjoy the music more than I could even begin to explain. Like good death metal to me is about as like sacred as, I don't know, like great opera music or fucking, I don't know what to tell you. Like, just it's meant a lot to me for a long time, but I never really got too into the rest of it because like it always seemed a little try-hardy to me, where it was just kind of like I think there's a kind of separation between like the music and the individual, and it's when the two things really start to kind of coincide within each other like really desperately that I'm just like, I don't need to do this. Like, number one, you shouldn't need to have to prove yourself about how death metal you are. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, who gives a shit, But then again, that's probably also the side of me that like grew up on alternative music and stuff like that, is I've got this kind of I don't give a shit what you kind of think attitude because of, the Cobains and the Stanleys and whatnot. And it's just like, I don't know.
And you never hear people talk about genres like that, like Like, a lot of people, and I don't even mean normal people. I mean, a lot of musicians will say, like, oh, yeah, I grew up on, like, say, I like 90s stuff because I don't give a fuck, or I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You never hear people say, like, well, I'm a multi-genred person, and I kind of dug this from that and this from that, and it kind of led to me liking this genre a little more. Like for example, having an understanding of the Cobain, Nirvana era and that I don't give a shit attitude led you to disliking and having a better understanding of the modern death metal scene. And whereas, and I see this a lot with mostly in the metal scene, but I'll see it in the rap scene. Like, people who really just kind of do their one genre, they kind of just like all of it because that's all they have. And so it's hard for them to admit when something's it's either black or white. It's either good or bad. There's no 50s like, oh yeah, like, okay, I like metal, but I don't really like this band so much. There's a lot of people who love Metallica and don't like Megadeth. You know, like that's a huge reality. It probably is most people. I mean, think about Metallica's huge, and the rest of thrash metal is not. And for metalheads, they love all of it because that's really all they fuck with. There's no Kendrick. There's no Death Grips. There's no Cannibal Corpse. They don't even do death metal. Like, they only do their 80s thrash, and the modern Kill Switch, and that's it. Like,
maybe.
And I think
really,
honestly, as much as I'm shitting on metal right now, I think the worst genre that has this problem is jazz. I think.
Oh yeah.
I think the jazzers are way too caught up, and they're like, I think most people who listen to this hopefully didn't go to Berkeley and meet these
Don't say its name. Don't say its name.
But I only mean that because we were around including us who loved. I mean, all four of us love jazz. But we all met all those people who die for jazz, and they love it so much, and it's almost like their only reason is their ego.
Yeah.
And it's they refuse anything else. If anything that has a strong a song structure of like verse chorus outro, they won't listen to it. This isn't Wes Montgomery. This is this is and it's kind of weird because then all of a sudden it's like then you don't get people like since we're talking about Craig, who's multi-genred and not just kind of multi-genre, like really loves multiple genres, and is able to apply it to his music, and it's not just more bullshit. It's a new sound. It's his own sound. It's and if you don't like open yourself up to these.
Hey guys, post podcast Craig here. Just putting this together. Just want to let you know at this point, the whole podcast pretty much just shit itself for like the last 18 minutes. What you gonna do? Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you'll be back to listen to more. That'd be really cool. Right now, we're planning on posting one of these every Sunday. We'll kind of play it by ear. Might be Mondays, might be Sundays, but we're going to try and stay consistent. All right? Be safe, be well. Catch you later.